In 2024, we travelled for almost 6 months in our ute and 17-foot caravan. After a brief trip through Queensland from our home in Brisbane, we spent about a month in the Northern Territory, visiting beautiful waterfalls, billabongs brimming with wildlife, and the iconic Nipperlook Gorge at Katherine. Over the next 4 months, we experienced the wonders of Western Australia, tackling the Gibb River Road and enjoying its gorges and waterfalls along the way. We were amazed by the vibrant colours of the Western Kimberleys and Karajini National Park. We snorkeled in the pristine waters of the Ningaloo Reef and explored the heritage-listed area of Shark Bay. There was more spectacular scenery and plenty of wildflowers to see in the Kalbarri area, and dozens of quokkas to take photos of in Rottnest Island. The last few weeks of our time in WA took us to hundreds of kilometres of stunning coastline and dozens of bays, beaches and inlets that took our breath away.
Straight road east. We're going home.
In this, our final episode, we commence our journey home. After leaving Lucky Bay, we headed north to Norseman, then eastwards across the Nullabor Plain. Before leaving WA, we stopped a couple of nights at Eucla. It was really hot and windy, so we had a powered site to be a little more comfortable. The weather settled and we enjoyed our final WA sunset. The Air Highway, which traverses the Nullarbor Plain, spans about 1,200 kilometres from Norseman in Western Australia to Ceduna in South Australia. This almost treeless plain includes the Bunda Cliffs of the Great Australian Bight, accessible by short detours from the highway. While some people see this as a tedious trip, we really enjoyed the drive and its scenery. Not far from our free camp is one of the most spectacular whale watching sites in South Australia, the head of the Bight. The Visitor Centre gives you access to viewing platforms with the backdrop of the Bunda Cliffs. In the sheltered waters of the adjacent bay, southern right whales congregate en masse to give birth to calves and take up residence for 5 months from June to October. We were a couple of weeks too late, but still enjoyed the views. We continued east along the Air Highway. At both ends of the so-called treeless plain are the famous brown signs. We didn't stop at either of them, but we can share David's photo taken 18 months earlier when he did a solo ride from home to Border Village and back. Our drive through South Australia took us to many places that we didn't capture, but one town we did make a stop to get the cameras out was Penong for the Windmill Museum. Streaky Bay on the Eyre Peninsula was a lovely spot to stop for lunch, and it was an overnighter for David on his bike ride. Kimba is a small South Australian town that is known for the fun fact it is halfway across Australia. It also has the Big Galah, some solo art, and a fabulous donation camp where we stayed overnight. About 50 kilometres from the New South Wales border is the outback mining town of Broken Hill. We headed straight for the Starview Primitive Campground in the Living Desert State Park to set up camp for 2 nights.
Very windy Broken Hill.
On the 1st of April 1993, artists from around the world began work on 12 sandstone sculptures in the Living Desert. Giant sandstone blocks had been shipped from the Wilcannia region for the Sculpture Symposium. 6 weeks later, the artists unveiled their creations, and today this is one of the most photographed sites in the Australian outback. The rest of our trip through New South Wales took us to Wilcannia, Cobar and Collarenebri for stopovers. And the final one, after a bit of wet weather, was a delightful little van park in the town of Warrialda. We were really happy to spend our final camp with friends at this van park 12 kilometres from Stanthorpe. It was a relaxing few days and a peaceful place to stay before heading back to the busyness of the city. So that's it for Dave Neddy's big trip. We feel very thankful for this wonderful opportunity, mostly good weather, very few dramas along the way, and our safe return. so much for following our journey, and hopefully you'll join us on our next adventure.